What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Life Unfiltered. Super excited to be back with y'all today. Man, the topic today is going to be super hot. You know what I mean? We're talking about sex, intimacy, black love, and black culture. And y'all already know what's up on this podcast, Life Unfiltered, where we cover, you know what I mean, the black mindset, black love, black culture, and overall the black experience. You know what I mean? So I just felt like last week we've really been on this relationship kick. You know what I'm saying? Like, where we've been discussing black love, black relationships. What does that look like? We started off with relationships and rent payments. We moved over to, talking about custody issues and the family. You know what I mean? And I feel like we've been kind of jumping around the convo of sex, if you will. You know what I mean? So as always, I'm not in the studio by myself, but I'm really excited about today's conversation because I'm in the studio only with one person today, which is my lady, my queen, Lady Cash is here.
Hi, everybody.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, like, we've been jumping around, we've been bouncing around with this sex topic, and I just feel like we need to go there. You know what I'm saying? Because we're married now, but we ain't always been. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And if we go back to our childhood, you know what I mean? I was born and raised in the church, but I was also getting them draws. And I just feel like we need to really dive into what does black culture look like. So let's kind of let's build, if you will, this subject. You know what I mean? So we're talking about, and I'm gonna tell you why. I feel like we need to really build this subject because back in the day, if you think about it, when we was having sex, we were what, 16, 17 years old. You know what I mean? It's like our parents may have known we was having sex, but it was not explicitly just in their face.
Right.
Like I remember the time you got sent home from school for wearing tights
Tight.
to school. Like, do you remember that?
They were not popping, but I was very innovative and fashion forward.
And I will give you that. Like the like everything that is out right now, like I will say that you was doing like in the early 2000s. But my point is, you were wearing all black tights, non-see-through. Like, we could not see your panties at all.
Correct.
And the principal was like, that's not appropriate for school. There should be something on top of that, like a skirt. And I remember they pulled you to the office like, you got to get up out of here.
And then a few months later, when they got popular and everybody was wearing
Everybody was wearing tights on the campus.
on everybody's head. Y'all don't see her? Y'all didn't see her home?
Yeah.
Take it off my record now. Not that it mattered, but
I just feel like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I said that to say nowadays, and then let's even go back further. Remember, you couldn't have long fake hair
oh no.
at school.
Tie it up.
Had to tie that joint up in a ponytail.
Hold it up. tie
Unless
it
that
up.
was your natural hair. Like, I can't remember that girl's name who went to Bellflower, but I think her name was Marcelli. Remember Marcelli? She had the nice, long, pretty hair.
Beautiful hair.
And like, they would even sometimes get on her head, like,
It's too long.
too long, tied up, like it could be pulled. We don't want you to fall. Like, sex culture was not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays, I just feel like, and I'm talking about sex culture publicly.
Okay.
Like, we're not talking about like our parents in the 90s. We're talking about like us as kids. You feel me? Like, in the house. Sex culture was not popping. You know what I mean? And like, nowadays, when I'm looking at these kids go to school, like, they got long braids going past their butt, all fake hair, crop tops,
Face full of makeup.
face full of makeup.
Lashes, long nails.
I mean, thong line out. You like, what grade are you? I'm in the 8th grade. What?
Seventh
like,
grade, sixth grade.
6th grade, 7th grade. Like, makeup, nails on, like nails
Yeah.
designed like yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's crazy. So growing up in the church, you grew up in the church, but we also had that world life. Like, let's dive in. Like, what would you say was not taught or discussed about sex in your household? Let's build this.
The emotionalism of sex, the hormonal factor that as a teenage girl, as a teenage boy, you are going to have these feelings. You're going to feel something.
Yeah.
Your stuff going to jump when you see something. When a boy touch you or hug you, he's going to smell good to you. When he brings you close, you're going to feel safe. You're going to feel like you want him to continue to hold you or touch you. And it may go further than that. It was more so of, if you have sex with that boy, you're going to get pregnant. So you better be ready to take care of that baby if you get pregnant and have a baby.
So you feel like our parents ignored the emotionalism of it. Like,
Yeah.
tell me what I'm gonna endure, but stop trying to scare me.
Yes. And it was, I feel like in the Black community, we only try to, well, our parents, they only try to scare us into not having sex because you could catch something or you could have a baby.
Right.
It was never that sexuality was normal, that your hormones are normal,
Hmm.
attraction is normal. You know, we weren't taught that. And I feel like that's why so many people ended up overly hypersexual, looking as sex as relationship, not understanding completely, yourself, your body, what you like, what you don't like, who you were as a person, the type of, you know, what your sexual lane was. Do you like a boy and you're a boy? Do you like girls and you're a girl?
I
You
just feel
know,
like first off, back in those days, and it's crazy to say that like we're like ancient, but like that was really like we're talking 15. I mean, well, I guess so. Yeah, because we've been out of school. What I've been out 15 years this year, so you've been out.
a little
Yeah,
over
that's
a touch.
crazy. 16 years. So with that being said, so we basically round into 20. Let's just call it what it is. 20 years ago, homosexuality, sex wise, wasn't even a thing. Like to me, like
It
you
was
you
something
knew
that we knew about, but it was very much
you may
so
have
hidden.
known your teacher was gay, but
Hmm.
like it wasn't expressed. Like you didn't see
Right.
rainbow flags and all that stuff across their desk, or even a picture
Pictures
of their
of their
partner.
partner, anything. Yeah.
Right, like all of that stuff was hidden. So when talking about sex, you said something powerful. You said, like that our parents basically tried to scare us into not doing it, comparable to giving us the education about what these feelings mean
Hmm.
when we start to experience
And
them.
how to
You
do
know
it
what I mean?
safely, because let's be for real, our parents didn't wait, so they was married to have sex, and their
Right.
parents probably didn't either. If we be completely honest, it's like, do what I say, not as I do. Okay, great, but what happens when I don't? Are you just gonna let me figure it out on my own? Am I just up in the air with it? Because like, not look at us. The situation we ended up in. So it's like if you would have maybe educated us more in that area instead of just telling us you're not supposed to do it, don't do it when you know we're gonna do it anyway.
Craziest thing is like my mom. So my mom was like, I don't want to hear about it. You know what I mean? Like I remember like when my aunt, like Rhonda, she was like, yo, godmom aunt. But when she was like, yo, I got these condoms for you. I'm gonna put them in the medicine cabinet and
Should you need them,
should you need them? And I'm
they
like,
there.
what I'm gonna need them for? Like, I don't need no condoms. Not realizing like what kind of emotion, what kind of feeling I was gonna walk into. Now, let's throw the black church in there for a minute because the black church was like, if you have sex, it's a sin. If you do it before marriage, you're going to hell. But then I got all of these beautiful women walking through the church every Sunday. And so here I am, and back then I was the organist. So it's like here I am sitting on the organ, you know what I'm saying? And all of these beautiful girls is walking through the church, and I'm listening to this preacher tell me that if I look at them a certain way, I'm going to hell. But it's like, okay, give me the education of what I'm getting ready to walk into, comparable to the fear
Hmm.
of me not doing it because she's looking at me, I'm looking at her. You get what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
like eventually we gonna whisper in each other's ear, and naturally we're gonna have an occurrence. You know
Right.
what I'm
And the
saying? Whether
conversation
that's
is not just going to be about how was church today. It's going to change.
you feel me?
Yeah,
And I just feel like, and I'm gonna throw it out there and just say it. The black church is screwing.
very much so.
Oh, they finna eat me up for that one. They about to
Very much so.
go in on that one. But and it's crazy because they screwing at the conventions, they screwing at the prayer meetings, they screwing after the revivals, they
After
screwing
church,
during the revivals.
before church,
Before church, after
Bible.
church, in the hotel, outside of the hotel, but nobody's talking about it. So what's the role of the black church in sex? Do you feel like the whole fear strategy, if you will, that our parents utilized
And
with
that the
us
church utilizes.
was for what came because of their position or their belief in the church?
I believe I'm going to say yes and no. I think I'm going to say yes and no. You want to teach us right. You want to teach us Bible. Okay, great. We try our hardest to live by that book. Those are the basic instructions before leaving Earth. Okay, thank you. We have this, but we're human. We're going to fall short. Hormones are human. Sexualism is human. We talk about it all the time as you go through your, psychology program, sexuality and how normal it is. And we both enjoy, Freud's theories of sexualism and his beliefs. I believe that wholeheartedly. Yes, we're trying to tame something that is natural in a human being, and with religion. And honestly, I don't feel like religion and sexuality always it's not a black and white conversation. And I don't like that in church the only time we really hear about sex is when it's a scandal or when it's something wrong, or we're demonizing a pastor, or we're demonizing someone, who is on this platform, or who is supposed to be, seen in a certain light, and he or she is in a scandal. That's the only time we really hear about sex in church. And it's really disheartening, because it's like these are natural feelings of a human being person, regardless of what your preference is.
I feel like religion in the church, that's a whole podcast episode by itself. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to bring some of my preacher friends on this show so we can really unpack this, in terms of what the scripture says comparable to what's happening. But you did touch something that was powerful, which was, the only time that you hear about sex in the black church is when we are demonizing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so true. You know what I mean? I think that I'll go back into my brain. Like, I remember, I think I might have been 15, 16, or closer to 16, 17, actually. Like, you know what I mean? And we were dating, you know what I'm saying? And I remember, you remember how deep in the church I was back then, you know what I'm saying? And when we would engage, I would be like, man, I'm going to hell tonight. Like, this is it. Cause like, I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna wake up and see the devil. Nobody stopped and said, listen, young man, this is what you're gonna walk into.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you're still anointed. Let's talk about those David stories. You know what I mean? Let me show you how he was king and he was anointed by God and he went through these episodes. You know what I mean? We didn't really see that. Like, I felt like the preachers in those days, you know what I mean? They were powerful men and women of God, but they jumped over that part. It was like,
Right.
David fell. Okay, now let me talk about how great he was again. You know what I mean? We never really dived or dove into, this is what you're going to endure. You know what I mean? And so I think that now, if we kind of fast forward, you know what I mean, to today, I think that our culture, and it's just my personal point of view, so take it or leave it, but I just feel like our culture uses sex almost like prostitution.
And I feel like they use sex as like a weapon.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, nowadays, it's more so um, you're going to market your body to this young man or to this young woman, you know what I mean, in terms of, I'm interested in you sexually. You get what I'm saying?
And almost like, and what you gonna do for
And
it?
what you're gonna do for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that, so if we're kind of going from when we were children to where sex was and how it was kind of like a naturally dating occurrence, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Even for those of us that engaged, you know what I'm saying, prematurely. You know what I mean? It was a natural occurrence. I like you, you like me. Let's see where it go. Now it's, I'm gonna hop on Instagram. I'm taking these sexy pictures. I'm putting my butt all in the camera. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm trying to show off my print, whatever the situation is. And from a female perspective, I feel like it's okay. So my body is developing. How much are you willing to pay for it? How many days you willing to take me out on to get it? How, how many out of the country trips before you able to crack? And I just feel like it's not viewed as prostitution from the female standpoint, but I think that if you are using sex as a means of
Bond or
pawning or communication,
mm-hmm.
bro, you trying to get that bread off your body.
I had something to say, but I'm gonna save
Say it. I'm
No,
interested.
it's an interesting post I see, and I laugh about it a lot. But the girl, she literally said, "Because if you got the money for the pee, I got the pee for the money." You feel me?
But I'm saying though, and so this is what I'm saying. Like, I think sex has become, in our culture, sex has become a tool to get what you want.
For some people, yes.
Look at the surgeries, look at the butts, look at the bodies, look at the not the breast reductions, but the breast enhancements, and people are putting fillers into their lips to make themselves more beautiful and more appealing, and it's all about summer body, body like Megan, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I'm outside with it, I'm turned up, you know what I mean? And I'm saying that it's for me when realistically I want the attention from
Of
this
another person.
individual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't just want the attention of the individual. I want the wealth and the income that go along with it too, because you're not giving it out to some dude, no matter how nice he is at the mall, you're not sliding into
Not
him if he broke.
respectful. But I feel like for some women and men, it's not about like the money. I think some people are still set on a genuine connection, and you don't see that very often. But that's not everybody's case. I feel like in with sexuality, that some people don't know how to. Some people don't know love or relationship outside of sex.
That's what
Sex
that's
means
the
you
problem.
like me. Sex means you love me. Sex means you want me. For a lot of people, a lot of women especially read it as that. Oh, he want me. He want to have sex with me, or he told me to meet with him or link with him. Oh, he must really, really like me. That's not the case always.
And I think that, especially from a male standpoint, I think sex is, I'm not saying that sex is not emotional and is not mental for a man, because when a man really is interested in you and a man really loves you, you know what I mean? Then sex is more intimate, it's more intentional, you know what I mean? But from a male standpoint, sex is physical. And I think that what you said is absolutely right. Like when we look at the culture and we're looking at relationships and the decline in relationships, especially in serious and intimate relationships, and the rise in situationships, polygamy relationships, and regular relationships, I think that, when we're looking at it from a sexual standpoint, I think a lot of our culture ends up hurt because of what you just said. Women are looking at it as, oh my God, he wants me. And men are looking at it as, I wonder if I can get it because I'm attracted to it today.
Thanks for the ass. Deuces.
I mean, basically, you know what I mean? So I think that, but I think it stems from what we said originally. We're young and our culture is afraid to talk about it.
But what happens when you're not young? What happens when you grow up and you develop and you still view sex as relationship, as care, concern, affection, and attention?
Well, okay, I'm gonna challenge you with this. Science says that your brain, your frontal lobe of your brain that is responsible for decision making, doesn't develop until you're age 25. How much sex did you have between, let's just say, when do we start puberty? 14-ish, 13-ish.
Hmm.
Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean that you lost your virginity at 13, right? But how much sex would you say that you possibly had between the ages of 13 to 25? Your brain did not develop. You did not make good decisions until 25. How much sex did you have between 13 and 25? You ain't got to throw a number on it, but just think about it. Or say, a little bit, a lot, medium. Like,
What you like? A whole lot of.
you
So
know what I'm
like,
saying?
yeah, that's
Like,
the
especially with
case.
emphasis, if you go even more specific and you say 18 to 25, grown,
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
like niggas was screwing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you turn around and you make that statement, it's like, well, what do you mean when I'm developed? Just because I'm 21 at the bar and I'm finna go upstairs with him does or her doesn't mean that I'm developed, because I'm still in the
But
process of
at
making
that
bad decisions.
moment, us as being young adults, think when you were 21, 18, we thought we was grown.
Exactly
We
my
knew we was
point.
going. Who gonna tell me something? What? I got my own place, my own car, my what? We
But how
knew we
many
was grown.
times do we look back and say, man, kind of like my grandma used to say, if I knew then what I
I
know
know
now.
now, yeah.
Right. So I came into a whole different level of wisdom at 25. I came into a whole different level of wisdom at 30.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I can honestly say that half of the people that I messed with between 18 and 25, I wouldn't even blink twice to at 30. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but I feel like, again, if we go back to, that younger era, that church era, that, parental era, you know what I mean? Like, tell me the real instead of just like talk to me about gender roles. Like, for example, I feel like women are taught to value their bodies, whether they do or they don't, but men are looked at as the aggressor, like meaning them men gonna try to sleep with you. But
Right.
as a man, I can honestly say there's been plenty of women.
Right.
You understand what I'm
Who
saying?
came at you like, what's up?
Like drop the draws today, and I'm like, whoa,
Hold on.
okay,
I'm
that's
clutching
where
my
we at.
pearls.
Like, yeah, like now I'm a little nervous. Like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like in the culture, stop being afraid to tell these young men about their bodies.
I agree there, and I think that I feel like that's why I do we do have that open relationship with our oldest son
Hmm.
to let him know, like, hey, son, we know you're handsome. I'm happy you like to take showers and you don't want to stink, but you're also growing.
Mm-hmm.
Your hormones are going to change. Your voice is getting deep, son.
Mm-hmm.
Your height is getting where it's supposed to be. You know, you're developing, and I love that you have those open conversations with our son to say, "Look, I know you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that you are comfortable enough to come to me when you want to and let me know when it's happening
Mm-hmm.
so that I can do my due diligence to protect you from everything else. I'm not trying to protect you or stop you from doing it because I know you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Son, I did it.
100%.
But be honest with me so you don't make the same mistakes that I did because
Yeah.
I was trying to hide it from my parents.
But you know what? And I was trying to hide it from the church too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm going to tell you why, because I was a young preacher. You know what I'm saying? So at that period of time, and a lot of parents may disagree with me right here when they watch this. They're gonna be like, I never sit up and tell my kids, to let me know when they out there doing it. But the reason why I want to tell that to my son is because, and somebody may say, well, would you have that same conversation with your daughters? I don't know, because I'm a daddy. You know what I'm saying? But with my boys, number one, I want you to know that you can that just like that girl values her body,
Value yours.
Negro value
You a
yours.
prize.
Because guess
Absolutely.
what? Something is shooting out of you.
Hello.
So if you don't value nothing else, value that little white thing that's going to shoot out, that's going to create some life. And be careful on who you create it with. Because who you create it with is going to dictate what kind of life you have.
For at
You know,
least the next 18
oh,
years, baby.
and that's life.
And that
If
is
you really
life.
look at it, because in 18 years, what decisions have you made? You know what I mean? And I feel like, again, that's from a sexual standpoint, we don't educate our black community about that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, son, I know that, you're supposed to be the man bringing the flowers and you're supposed to value her body and respect her body. And I want you to do all of that. But I also want you to value your body too. And she needs to respect your body as well. And you need to understand that you're a prize too.
Absolutely.
I remember I was looking at some post on Instagram and it was like, um, you niggas think that you the prize nowadays. And that's what I teach my son. I teach him that he is the prize.
Right.
And he needs to understand, oh, you want me to drop these draws? No, I can't drop these draws for you because I'm not really trying to be with you like that. So I need to respect your body enough to understand that I can't just be laying down with anybody. That's my goal.
Right.
And the only way that I can get to that goal.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that because it doesn't mean you don't be a gentleman. It doesn't mean you don't open that door for that woman. It doesn't
Oh,
mean you
absolutely.
don't call her out her name. It doesn't mean, if she gets sassy with you, you don't call your cousin or your sister or your mom and say, I need you to deal with this because I know where my limit is. However, you have to value yourself. I feel like men are so, I think when we were in high school, and growing up as kids in the sexual life and parties and stuff, it was who can I get it from and how many can I get it from?
Mm-hmm.
That was like the mindset. Where now it's like we're trying to change that trajectory to say, hold on, be careful who you get it from
Mm-hmm.
and where it's going.
Yeah, because I
it
feel like
matters.
if my son comes to me and says, Dad, and he's done this before, and I respect him for that, Dad, I'm having these emotions. I like her. This is where I'm at. Then I, as a parent, instead of threatening you, boy, if you do that, you gonna have a baby, you better figure it out. Like that comes with it. It does. But I also need to take a more educational approach and say, okay, son, you're still saved. Let's talk about it from that standpoint. You're still going to heaven. Jesus still loves you.
Mm-hmm.
These feelings are natural. This is how we're going to navigate this, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that way, if it does happen, you know what I mean, and hopefully it won't happen for many years, but if it does happen, then I can stop and say, you know what to do. You know what I'm saying? You know that you shouldn't be having unprotected sex. You know that you shouldn't be playing with girls' emotions and girls' feelings. You know that, it's something sacred and something special. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't be giving it to just anybody and everybody who asks you for it. You need to be educated on diseases. You need to know the risks as well as the rewards of what it is that you're doing. And you also need to know that once it goes, it's gone. There is no redo.
Get back, no.
There ain't no give it back to me. There is no none of that. You know what I mean? And I teach my son that the person that you choose, look at that person and say, can I be with you for the next 18 years of my life? I don't care if you 15, 16, 17. Look at them and say, can I see myself like literally with your mama and your grandma and your aunties? You know what I mean? And I think that that's been successful, comparable to
Trying to scare you into not doing it.
you going to hell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's crazy. So, what do you think about like the gender role aspect? We kind of touched on it. Like, women are, the prize, and men are more so like the aggressors. Like
Or the chaser, or yeah.
what do you think about that?
Um, I think, women definitely are the prize. Just naturally, I think a woman should be upheld on a pedestal, and if a man is not, showing you that, I want you, all of you, not just your body. I care about your mental state, your emotionalism, your goals, your aspirations, and things. Like for me, like that's something that is absolutely important. And a woman should think about that before she. Now, not to say you don't just, maybe you just need to get yours off and you're not worried about how a man feel about
Get
your
yours
goals.
off is crazy.
So you're not worried about how a man feels about you in that moment. Okay, great. But it's like, don't expect to lead with sex and then try to reverse and say, okay, but I need you to care about all these other things too. Because by the time a man finishes and he breathes twice and pull his pants up, baby, he's on to the next. He's not
And
thinking
I 100% agree with you.
about
I
that.
do think that black women need to like understand that they're queens, and like start teaching your daughters this early. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But I also think that our black sons need to realize y'all are kings. And
Absolutely.
and here is I
And it's
always
not
tell
about
my
how
son,
much tail you could get or who you cracked. I hit her, and I switched over there, and I went
right.
to her friend, and all of that stuff. Like that's really that has to be more than a go because what happens after that? Like I see memes now. Like I like my dude ran through. I wash him off, and he didn't already got out of his system. No, 9 times out of 10, that's his mindset, and he won't realize. So after some 26, 27, probably upwards of 30, that okay, now I want to settle down.
And honestly, you also got to look at it from like the spiritual aspect of deposit. Like, do you really want all of the unfinished bit? Like, it's crazy. Like let's go here. Like, do you really want all of the unfinished business that this dude got cracking right now? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Come on.
coming into your world. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
like I said, a lot of women feel like, oh, he like me, he'll be different with me. Or maybe you don't know. People don't get to know people. Like, you know how many people have mental health problems and you are laying yourself down with them and then you're wondering why you're off or why stuff is going wrong with you, why your head is hurting randomly, you don't even get
why are
headaches
you
and
depressed? Why am I sad?
exactly.
Why do I have high anxiety? I ain't never dealt with sadness before. What's going on with me? Well, that's really not you. That's two women ago from him.
Hello.
Or, hey, brother, why do I feel down in the dumps? Well, that's really not you. That's actually 2 men ago from her, that you allowed to come into your shared space. So, yo, this conversation is getting deep. Give us a moment. Y'all know we got to take this commercial break. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaiah, and I'm so excited to announce the Psych brand official launch. You're looking at the flyer right now, and it's so easy to cop one of these shirts. All you have to do is head over to our Instagram, exclusively Unfiltered. DM us and let us know that you want one of these shirts. You gotta have it. Look at it. You're literally pronouncing your future. You're literally letting us know that you're not dealing with grief, loss, sickness, disease, defeat, depression, anxiety, or homelessness. Death and generational curses are over. You got to proclaim your future with one of these shirts. We got them in all sizes. Y'all hit us up on exclusively Unfiltered on IG. Peace. Welcome back. All right, because we are really diving into sex. We are building it up here. You know what I mean? We went from what's going on in the early phases of life. We kind of touched a little bit on religiosity. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother episode though, because that can break down in so many different ways that we gonna have to bring some preachers in here and we're gonna have to really talk about it. And now we're kind of like getting into that adolescent phase. So let me ask you this. Like, do you feel like there is a disconnect between, and now we're talking maturity. So let's talk about our age group, anywhere from, let's talk 18 to we can go up to 45, 50. Is there a it is two different age groups, but you know what I mean? Like we're sitting
26.
we're sitting at the party or at the lounge with the 28s to 40s right now. But then you and I were also sitting at the jazz fest with the 40s to 50s. You know what I'm saying? Or the 30s, 32s to 50s. So I'm gonna just kind of broaden up that age range. Is there a disconnect between sex and black relationships?
Mm. Well, yeah, there is a disconnect between sex and black relationship. Like I said, I feel like people are predicating relationship on sex. If I screw him 3 times a week, we consistent. That's my boo, and can't nobody tell me nothing because baby, I've seen him every other day this week. He about me, all about me, and
But
that's
see,
what it
and
is.
I think that's so bogus because, like, I remember me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go there with you tonight. Like, I remember me, like, I was living life, and there was people, you know what I'm saying, back in the day, you know what I mean, who thought, oh, okay, well, I'm engaging with him, so this is what it is. We
My man, my
together.
man, my man.
And I'm like, we didn't necessarily sit down and talk about a relationship. And I told you what this was. You know what I'm saying? And like you felt as if it was something greater.
Because of the
You
engagement
because of the
and the
engagement,
consistency.
which is why we say that
But
sex is there's a disconnect between what sex is
in
and what
relationship,
relationships.
absolutely.
It should be one. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be we're together, we're pursuing this goal, we're going to get married, we are married, and
Mhm.
so this is what it is. That to me is within the earth as well as within the church.
But
But
most
I feel like the
women
culture has
don't know
separated it.
how to do that. Most women don't know how to say, I like you, I'm attracted to you, I want to have sex with you, but what are we doing here? What is this? And you like you said, I let them know, like, hey, I don't want a relationship. I'm interested in you. I think you're beautiful. I like that ass. Can you bend it over? But I don't want to be with you. And that is hard, I'm gonna say, for women, black women, to differentiate the two. He only wants my body. He does not want me.
So does
He
that
doesn't see a
cause
future or life with me, but I can lay in this bed every night or every other night, and this is what it's going to be.
so what does that do for like trauma and intimacy and
It causes a
vulnerability?
lot of trauma. It causes a lot of confusion and vulnerability because intimacy and sexuality equates out to relationship building on a consistent basis for most women. So
I think
it's
love bombing,
confusing.
if we can just kind of take a psychological term for a minute, I think love bombing like has a lot to do with that as well. And this is what love bombing is for everyone who doesn't know. It's that it almost happens like in the beginning of a relationship, if you will. It depends on kind of where your relationship goes, but love bombing is a manipulative tactic, actually. You know what I mean? And it's when basically a man or woman tells you everything you want to hear. You're
Mm.
beautiful, you're a queen, you're a king. I love you. I'm here for you. I'm rooting for
And
you.
the flirtatious
Here's my
nature is
money,
there
baby.
in the
What you doing? Good
conversation.
morning, good night. I'm thinking of you. Like all of the stuff you want to know. You know what I mean? That'll make you be like, oh, I'm dependent on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they yank it away. You know what I'm saying? And now you're like, where's the good morning text? Where's the good night text? Where are you? Like, why don't
Mm-hmm.
you care? You know? And it's not for, of course, women to be like, well, all men do that. Well, we're obviously not talking about the ones that do it unintentionally. We're talking about the ones who come into the situation saying, I know that I can get the draws if I do this. If I
Mm-hmm.
bring the flowers, the candy, the expensive dates, or just the dates in general. You know what I mean? The I love yous, the compliments, the hey gorgeous, hey beautifuls, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And then when she needs it and she's dependent on it, and I see her eyes wallow up every time, I'm like, you getting on my nerves. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I love bombed you into sexual affection.
Mm-hmm.
You thought it was intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's the confusion right there. I'm just trying to get. I have a goal, and it's not to me. It's not gender based. I have a goal. You know what I mean? And with that goal, it's I use this love bombing tactic or this manipulative tactic in order to get you into that goal. But you thought that it was intimacy. So let me ask you
So,
this: how do you know when I'm being sincere in intimacy?
mm, from someone who's love bombing you.
Just period. How do you know if I'm being sincere right now with intimacy?
I feel like sincerity comes with action. Love is action. Love is,
Break that down.
for me, love is, for one, being on one accord. So for someone who says that they care and they are sincere with you and they want to see you thrive and they want to see you happy, they're going to pay attention to you and what makes you happy.
That is so powerful because we're talking about sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, especially, I'm gonna talk from the man's point of view. When a man wants to be intimate with you, and when I say intimacy, I mean more than just sex,
Mm-hmm.
a man is gonna wanna get to know you.
Right.
Women need to pay attention, right? Because sex, like you just said, it causes vulnerability, it causes trauma, right?
Correct.
Then of course there's a problem with intimacy, and I think that if women or men would just stop and pay attention to what am I hearing,
versus what I'm seeing.
versus what I'm seeing and process it, you won't be so quick to give up your body because you'll start realizing, okay, he's telling me I'm beautiful. That's really shallow. You may ask a question, what's beautiful about me? And
Right.
the dude gonna be like, well, because I didn't intend on that. I
Exactly.
intended on you to be wowed by the fact that
I've
you were
actually had
beautiful.
conversations like that with men being on dates, saying, "Oh, I think you're so beautiful." And I'm like, "What's beautiful about me?" But don't give me anything physical.
Okay,
And you
yeah,
have no idea how many men have been stumped.
of course,
And I've had a men on me. "Oh, I think you're really beautiful. Like, oh, can I see you tomorrow? I'm gonna make you breakfast." I'm like, "Dang, you wanna make me breakfast?
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna come to your house. You can make me breakfast." I get to your house, and baby, you sipping coffee, and I'm like, "Where's my cup of coffee?" And you just automatically you own me. You wanna kiss me and touch me and rub me and grope me and put
of course,
grind on me. Pause. Where's my ex? Where's
mm-hmm,
my toast?
yeah,
Don't Okay, so I see what this is. And
yeah.
if women would just stop, pause, and really pay attention to it, you would see. But I think it's the he wants me phase, and it's like, baby, it's not a want. It's a can I get?
And I
You know
think
what I
that
mean?
so what you're
It's a,
describing psychologically is called hypersexuality, right? Like, and I think that you're absolutely right. You know why? Because most women, most men, depending upon, which one is the aggressor, because we've already identified that either one could be the aggressor.
correct.
The hypersexual individual is simply telling you what you want to hear. Like you said, I'm beautiful. Well, what's beautiful about me? I don't know. I didn't think that far. Or, oh, you're so gorgeous. Or, oh, I've been thinking about you. Well, what you been thinking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like at
And
that
usually, if
point,
you ask a man what he been thinking about, it's gonna be lips, tips, and fingertips.
of course. You understand? So then right there, it's not intimacy. Can you tell me something that I said that jogged your mind or your brain that had you really pondering something about me? What did I tell you that I enjoyed that you want to get to know more of? I
Mm-hmm.
think at that point you're going to make an intimate connection with the
Right.
person. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll give you an example of you. Like I remember and I recall when we were dating. You know what I'm saying? This 2020, we're dating. You know what I mean? I genuinely became interested in things that you were doing. You know what I mean? Stuff that, like I said, I'm born and raised in a black church, so it was something as simple as waist beads.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, did I think you were sexy? Yeah. Did I think you had a nice body? Absolutely. Did I think that you were gorgeous? Of course. You know what I'm saying? But then I was more concerned with why are you wearing them waist beads? I've been thinking all night. I can't shake you out of my mind. Tell me why you got that stuff around your waist. Is that witchcraft? Like, what is that? You know what I
Right.
mean? And it would spark a conversation between us that wasn't sexual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in having sex with you. What I want to know, because I can have sex with all of them, I'm not interested in that. That I'm beyond that now. Now I'm ready to settle down. Tell me why you got these things around your waist.
Mm-hmm.
Or, tell me what's your? I used to ask you, what's your career aspirations? Like, where are you going? What are you trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a business owner. What do you see with that business? You know what I mean? That is me engaging in intimacy on a whole different level. Because now I'm saying I want to know you.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean?
Beyond
Like
the physical.
I want to be certain of. That's what the word "know" means. To be certain of. I want to be certain of who I'm talking to. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And I think that that was the start of love. Today we ain't got that. Today these folks is like, I'm hypersexual. You got a nice body.
I'm
What's
cool with
up?
that. That's cool. Like, oh yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, when I'm gonna see you.
Hopping in your DM. Like, so do you feel like the media has a play on hypersexuality?
Absolutely. That's all we see every time we go to. Actually, saw a post today that I wanted to share with you. It was like 10 things as a psychologist that you should stop doing that is messing up your that's messing with your mental health. One was immediately getting on social media in the morning. And we talk
I
about
agree.
that. We talk about that often. It was like, stop getting on social media because it's overstimulate you quick and you barely have
I
time
agree.
to breathe, woosah, sip some water. If you're religious, pray, or get just be in tune with yourself. How do you feel? Did I sleep good tonight? Is my neck tight? Do I have a headache? Am I ready for this?
Mindfulness. Yeah.
Being mindful. So I feel like, yes, like social media, like maybe the first post is positive, the next post might be, you know booty shaking, or somebody working out, or a snatched waist, or whatever the post is. And I feel like everything now is sexuality and sexual preference. If you're not, you know, LGBTQIA being shoved down, babies' throats, and adults, and hypersexuality, then it's hypersexual, kids and teenagers, or it's like I said, the bodies, or you're constantly comparing yourself to, and all that we see on social media, women and men are saying, "Dang, this is must be what I need to be so that I can get my person."
And you know what? I just feel like kind of going back to the educational piece. If we stop being scared to talk about sex, the feeling, say the word over and over again, sex.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If we stop being afraid to talk about sex, the black culture, black religion, right? Like
Mhm.
then the educational piece comes with the comfortability of being able to discuss it. And then from education comes the value, right?
Right.
Like, but a lot of us, going back to the trauma aspect of it,
We're not
I
educated.
can't tell you how many women I have met who are hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my goodness, I hate like women to say this, and they'll be like, I can get down just like a man. No, you can't. You can't do it. It's not natural for you to do it. You know what I mean? And
But
somebody
not
gonna argue
natural
with me on
doesn't
this
mean
post
that
right now,
everyone
but
can't.
I disagree with you. So you're saying that a woman can engage sexually like a man?
And what do you mean by that?
Emotionless.
Oh, see, that's hard.
So,
No.
but that's what
Okay.
women say
I
though.
will say not in the beginning, because women are naturally emotional creatures. You cannot undo your DNA. I'm
I
sorry.
don't think that no woman can ever engage emotionally as a man. If we go outside right now and
I say
find
that
a
because,
sex worker on the street,
hold on,
there is no woman that is going to be able
but
to
that's
sleep
not
with
fair.
multiple men
That's her
over and
job.
over again. They can't sleep with multiple men over and over again and be open emotionally to love. It's impossible. It's impossible.
So that woman's not looking for love, is she?
Have you ever, okay,
She's
let me ask you
looking
this.
for money. You
Have
got
you
the
ever bumped
money,
into a
honey.
woman and in your homegirls or whatever, and they're engaging sexually? Boom, they turned up. They got nigga A, B, and C,
Mhm.
and this is my weekly. This nigga is occasionally, and he is just whenever I need a special assignment, right? And then boom, now you ready to engage into a relationship, but you are bringing these three niggas into that relationship. Meaning, oh no, I know what you want. You just want this from me. Well, who said that? I'm actually here to take you out for a nice dinner, but
Mhm.
because he's screwing your brains out, you feel as if that's what I'm on. So you are projecting those emotions that
Okay.
you said are not wrapped up into him onto me, which is going to cause me to back up because now I think you're crazy
Mhm.
and run. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or I'm gonna just be trying to get the buns like he's getting them. But now there's no chance in a relationship because your brain tells you that everybody wants you sexually. You cannot engage like a man emotionally. A man, I'm not saying it's a good thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. A man can sleep with three women in a day and not remember none of their names tomorrow and not fall in love with neither one of them.
But I feel like either will be, in my opinion, I feel like if a man goes back to those women and it's a reoccurring, consistent thing, then there's something you might not feel, they might not feel, man may not feel it's emotional, but there is a connection there. Because if you can get any woman and go get another one, why do you keep going back to the same one?
Well, the
If it's
connection could
not.
just simply be we had a great session, but the woman is going to think, oh my God, he wants me. The man is saying, I like the way that you pleased me. We're in two different categories, and one of us is going to end up hurt because the other one is completely confused. If you put some food on the ground, I guarantee you're going to catch a stray. I bet you right now, if you put some pedigree on the ground, there's going to be some dog that's going to walk up to you and be like, oh, is that for me? That doesn't mean that dog ain't gonna bite you if you ain't got the pedigree. I mean, it's a horrible example to like compare men to dogs. Like, I know my bros is like, what? But it's the truth. And I
Okay.
feel like that's where women's vulnerability, women's trauma, men's vulnerability, men's trauma, because, I know I've been talking from the male standpoint, but also we carry stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
So break that down. Like, when have you been intimate with a woman and felt like taken advantage of, or you know felt like, why she not hitting me up, why she not answering, how come she not linking, like, did that make you feel some type of way?
when I was being sincere and genuine, yes. when I was being sincere and genuine. Because, like I said, if a man presses past the physical, I could look at you right now and be physically attracted. Boom, let's go do it. But if I press past the physical and I really want to get to know you, but you're still engaging with him, and so I'm putting forth effort, and it's like I'm giving you something, whether it's marital or premarital, and I'm like, oh my God, like I just gave her everything I had. I'm just, oh my goodness, I like her. And your emotion is cut off, then it's not being reciprocated, then now that man is like in his vulnerability as well. You get what I'm saying? Like mentally, you know, I'm stressed out because now I'm sitting here saying like, is she gonna engage back? Is the feeling mutual? Like what exactly is going on here? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where trauma comes into play. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I was saying prior to kind of us, segueing into this. I can't tell you how many women I've bumped into, you know what I mean, who was like living in some level of hurt and trauma
Based off of false reality, probably of a relationship that they thought they
of
were going to have
relationships.
because they were sleeping with a man.
And you
And
misinterpreted those emotions, misinterpreted those feelings. And now that level of
wait,
vulnerability, you're afraid
wait,
to give
pause for
it.
a second.
That trauma, you're afraid to deal with it, and you really don't even understand true intimacy.
So, how does a woman misinterpret emotions?
Ooh, from my standpoint,
Yes, from a male standpoint.
let's because you assumed something without having the conversation. Like don't be sex is a communication tool. It is.
Hmm.
And when used effectively, right, it will convey a message that words
Cannot.
cannot. Like, and that's why I think Jesus was just an awesome creator because he gave you a feeling and an emotion and something, an action to convey something that you like can't even put in words, right? Like sit here and try to describe what sex feels like and you're going to be like stumped. You know what I'm saying? Because he created it in such a way that it's just insane. But in the same context, how do you misinterpret emotions when you think that there was a message in something that was purely physical?
So, if you're saying so much without saying anything in sex, how can a message be misinterpreted?
Because when I liked you, I told you. When I wanted more, I told you.
Yeah, verbally, not
Right.
with sex.
Exactly. I took my point exactly. I told you. This is more than just a physical attraction for me. I want all of you. I want you to move in. I want to marry you. That's where I went with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So there was no misinterpretation of, is this just a Saturday night? We both went to Javier's and the Mexican food is working, or is this something greater? Like I told you, babe, this is something far greater than that. And then I asked you, are your feelings and your emotions on the same path as mine? And we were able to have that conversation. So when it finally became physical between us, you didn't have to question my intention. You already knew this is more than just physicalities. I feel like in a lot of sexual relationships, like as they mature, they're situationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We both horny on Monday,
And we hold on to those situationships hoping that it becomes something, solidified, and that's not always the case.
which is starting an unnecessary trauma bond for you.
Wow. Okay, so
Psychology calls it a trauma bonding. So you're literally bonding with me, but you know that I'm hurting you. And I know, hopefully, I know that I'm hurting you as well, but we both enjoy what we're doing because we've been doing it for so long. So now we're trauma bonding.
okay,
It's
so wait, I got a question. My question is, when should people engage in sex? And when dating, this is somebody I find attractive. I think you're sexy. You got it going on. I love what you do. I have it going on. I've got a good head on my shoulders. We both are independent people. How long should you wait to have sex in a relationship or in a dating phase? Like,
I'm gonna
what
give
does
you a
that look
few
like?
answers.
Okay.
Religion, you shouldn't have sex until marriage, off top. And the reason why I think that was put into place is because at this point we have solidified something outside of the physical realm. And so now it's I want to get to know you physically because I'm in love with you. I believe in, and my bro said it, Aaron said it on a couple of shows ago. Love is, to me, is the conjoining of two minds. It is when we think alike. It is when we are when we become one in the mind. You know what I mean? And that's why at our weddings,
Same path, yeah.
that's why at our weddings we
It's so much more
jump over the
joyous.
brooms, we light the candle, we pour the sand. It's all mental, right? So if we wait on sex until that mental component is solidified, I don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff that we sat here and discussed because we both are driving down the same street the same way.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. For those individuals that are not necessarily religious, then I think that it should be at a point where we both are mature enough to handle the positives and the negatives that are going to be associated with it. Well, how do I determine that maturity? Am I ready to have that conversation?
The conversation of what?
The conversation of what is this, right?
Relationship.
Oh, absolutely. What are we doing?
That answer.
What are we doing? Most men, right, when I'm just trying to smash, I do not want to have an intense conversation about what this is. I don't, because I want it, but I'm afraid that if I tell you the truth, you're not going to give it to me. So when should we have sex? We should have sex at the point where we can sit down on the couch and both acknowledge what this is and what we want. Because at that point, you're hearing it from my mouth. This is what I want. I'm hearing it from your mouth. This is what you want. You understand what I'm saying? So there should be, if I tell you I want the buns, don't sit here and think you're finna get a ring. Because we've already acknowledged that this is not what this is. You understand what I'm saying? So if you engage with me,
just know.
Remember
this.
I might be dating her tomorrow.
Right.
Because I'm not marrying you. If you allow yourself to get hurt, you just become a fool.
So it doesn't matter how good the interaction is, how good the sex is, how you grab you, smack on you, pull on you, bring you close, whatever happens.
Mighty God.
If it is said before, do not take what happens during the interaction as anything more than a physical interaction.
I'm gonna just say this. I was dating this girl, and this was, during one of my episodes. I'm saved, I love the Lord, so y'all judge your moms. But I was going through some hurt, and it was every bit of that. Every bit of what you just said. This is probably somewhere 9-10 years ago. Yeah, it's close. It was everything that you just said. And in her brain, she felt like, I'm finna be with this man. And she allowed herself to go through, and I had no idea that she was even there because I thought that we had a very clear understanding, right? And she went through.
Verbatim, you said, like,
there was nothing that's going to come of this. Wow. Are you cool with that?
Straight drop.
Straight up, like this, like serious blank face and everything. Because, again, I was in the church, right? Like I was doing my thing. I was excelling educationally. I was working. I didn't have time for love. I wasn't interested in no love. I was coming out of a relationship, a long-standing one at that. Like I wasn't interested in jumping right back into something refreshing with you. I was just hurt behind a lot of stuff that was going on that I couldn't convey at the time because I can't just come out and say I'm hurt, right? Like I have to be the strong man.
It was your way to mask.
And so I was masking. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, she felt like I was lying. Like, no, you love me. I'm like, okay. And when the argument started, I never forget. Like, I remember she was like going off on me one day. And this was during the time where I was getting my life right again, right? And I'm just like, I gotta stop doing this. Like, I don't want to go to hell. Like, I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Short period of time, conviction hit me. I wouldn't even say that this was a month long. I'm like, Lord, I gotta quit this. I don't want to go to hell. And at this point in time, like she was going off, like, I love you. Like, what are you talking about? You want to be with everybody else, but you don't want to be with me. And I remember I was just sitting there, and I had this confused look on my face, and she was like, look at you just sitting there looking confused. And I said, can I be honest with you? I said, I am confused. I said, I don't even understand how we got here. I really don't. I don't know where all these emotions came from. And I felt bad, babe. I felt bad because I'm like, I feel like I should be emotionally where you are. But I felt so bad because I'm like, on several different levels, but I felt bad because I was like, you are in a place emotionally that I only understand educationally because I'm not there with you. And I'm trying to figure out, when did you get there?
Yeah.
You understand? So now I feel guilty because I got to let you walk that path alone because
Can't help you.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. I thought I was honest with you, but clearly you are
That's
in
what I mean.
trauma,
You
and I
told
felt bad.
somebody verbatim, hey, this is what it is, straight drop, black and white. Are you cool with that? We can move, you move forward. You were sleeping with this person, whatever the case. But something in them said, because it's happening, because it's so reoccurring, because it's consistency, this is my man. This is who he loves me. This is where we're going.
So you opened yourself up to vulnerability, and it became traumatic because you weren't listening.
That's sick.
Yes, really sick. But I think that's what's happening. Again, going back to our culture, that's what's happening in our culture. We are sexually afraid to have those conversations. From the young perspective, we're afraid to talk about it at that age. From the more mature perspective, we're afraid to open up and say, I value this. This is who I am, and we're not even going here. Like, one of the greatest dating relationships that I had, maybe about 3 years before you and I, was a woman who flat out was like, so that's not even going to be a possibility. And at the time, I wasn't interested because I was, I had just started pastoring and doing my thing too, although I was going through a public divorce at the time. And I was like, I'm not even interested in that. Like, I'm beyond that as well. So that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Needless to say, we ended up being friends. But you know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, I was like, this is so respected because I know what you're looking for. You know what I'm looking for. And let's go to church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wires
Like,
have crossed and they're not going in the same direction.
and honestly, our conversations were so like impactful
That's
because we were able to talk about, and it does not to say that there was not an attraction there, but we were able to talk around that subject. Like, yeah, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So I just think that when we're talking sex, when we're talking trauma, when we're talking a disconnect in relationships, I think that we need to stop advertising sex so much and then getting wounded when that's all we have left.
Yeah, I do see that. I see a lot of women, I will say, and men sometimes, and it's like, ugh, I can't believe he sent me that. Like, why would you send me that? It's disgusting. But we be peeking anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
women like they do. We use our bodies, we use sex as a mechanism, as a control mechanism. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like I've never used my body to like get a man's attention. Why he not text me back? What's going on? My mind automatically goes to sex. You get the squinty eyes. You seen that meme when they like,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I send him this, he might get a response. Of course, you're gonna get a response. It's physical. It's a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say good morning, how's your day going, baby? 6 8 hours might go by. You might not get a response back.
It's a mess.
So I think that as women, if we start valuing ourselves and saying it's okay for a man to not be interested in you past this, when you say no, you can't have the draws, is he still good morning and good nighting you? Is he still calling you and checking on you? Is he still interested in you as a person outside of your physical? That should let you know, baby, as fine as he is, as cute as he is, as much of a catch you feel like he is, he's just not that into you and he's not for you.
This conversation is getting hot, y'all. We are talking about applying pressure, and is applying pressure straight sex? Like, is that all we got? I mean, is sex? Drop it in the comments. Let us know what y'all think right now. Like, is sex all that's in the dating relationship? Are we advertising sex too much? And does that lead to over vulnerabilities, the lack of intimacy, and intense trauma within our culture? Let us know what's going on. Like, share, subscribe, and follow right now. And we're going to keep this conversation going.
Click the link.
Peace.